The Global Summit on Artificial Intelligence is underway in Paris. The event, which is taking place at the Grand Palais, is a chance for world leaders to rub shoulders with tech executives who are leading the change. Now, in the run-up to the gathering, OpenAI's chief executive penned an op-ed in French daily Le Monde where he wrote, "If we want growth, jobs and progress, we must allow innovators to innovate, builders to build, and developers to develop." Now, France 24's Peter O'Brien is covering the event for us, and earlier he met up with Nabiha Syed, Executive Director of the Mozilla Foundation.
So we're at the Grand Palais here where the AI Summit is well underway, although the main topic today might be investment and that 109 billion euros that Macron has drummed up for French data centers notably. There are lots of other topics on the agenda: human rights, data, sustainability, and I'm here with Nabiha Syed, who is the Executive Director of the Mozilla Foundation. So not to be confused with Mozilla, the company that produces the browser Firefox, for which it's most well known, I would say. But I'll let her introduce herself. Nabiha, tell us a bit about your work.
So at the Mozilla Foundation, which is actually the foundation that owns the Mozilla Corporation, and as well as a venture arm and an AI research institute, our job is to make sure that the development of technology serves the public interest. So having a foundation, a nonprofit at the helm of this useful technological development is a way to center the public interest at all times. And I'm happy to say that is a theme that we are hearing everywhere across the summit today.
Somewhere we're not hearing it particularly is in the US, from the US government right now. Are you expecting something different from JD Vance tomorrow? What kind of thing is he going to talk about?
I suspect that the geopolitical competition element of artificial intelligence, which is something that the Trump administration has frequently said is a matter of high concern for them, is going to be the subject matter for tomorrow.
And in terms of data, you've worked a lot on data in the past and notably exposing data abuses by the likes of Facebook. One of the big concerns is how we can have data sets that are fair to everyone. One thing to come out of the summit is a 2.5 billion euro foundation to bring together data for public interest. Do you back this initiative? Do you see this as a good step forward?
I think this is an incredible initiative. In order to have artificial intelligence that actually serves everyone, we need to have the public interest at every element of the stack, and that includes data sets. Imagine if you have data sets that only represent some people, or some languages, or some interests, or some industries. Whatever AI model uses that data will have necessarily a very skewed, a very slanted perspective. So to put in the work to make it equitable, to make it representative, to make it structured and useful is not cheap. And so to have this much resource behind something like that is extraordinary. At Mozilla, we know just how much effort and resource it takes to make those data sets. One of the featured data sets here, actually in the Palais, is a project we've had for many years called Common Voice. Common Voice is one of the world's largest open source voice data sets, 200 different languages throughout the world that are represented. In order to have people play a part in the future of AI, at the very least their languages have to be part of it. We've spent the time and the resource to build that kind of work. We know others are as well, and so I'm really excited about initiatives that encourage those kinds of representative examples in data.
Now, Mozilla is also a big advocate for open source AI, as are a lot of actors in the French scene, the likes of Hugging Face is American, but they're also quite French, Mistral as well. Now, a report was put out by Yoshua Bengio, a top AI scientist, for the summit, which amassed lots of expert opinions on AI from around the world. His take is rather more damning about open source, and he says the risks do outweigh the benefits.
We have to remember that for anything, it is the rate of destruction operates faster than the rate of creation. It is easier to destroy than it is to build. It is true that open source is open, so bad actors could move faster or in different ways than good actors. But by virtue of it being open, with many eyes, all bugs are shallow, is a statement you hear in open source a lot. We will be able to identify the harms, see the harms, and stop them. The alternative, right? The alternative is that everything is closed. When there are harms, the public won't know. We won't be able to stop how it happens. It will exist in a black box that only the actors who perpetuate the harm would know how it happened. That alternative is untenable, right? The closed universe is untenable. Open allows us the way to have the antidote to the poison, not just be the poison itself. Now, I think what's necessary for open to work is for us to create tools around safety. There was just one announced just less than an hour ago called Roost, which is robust online safety tools, open online safety tools. And that is a set of open source tools that allow us to identify exploitative content about children, terrorist content, other information on open source platforms and shut it down. That open source is the solution to the problems that are coming out of open source, and that dynamic is still better than a closed system where we won't be able to stop the harm we see.
Nabiha Syed, thank you very much for speaking to France 24.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll see many more announcements over the next 2 days. A mind-blowing amount, in fact. We'll try and stay abreast of it all for you.